the best way to love one another is not to start with one another, but to start with Him. By loving and obeying Him. Just as the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in His love. So obviously, we have an example to follow. Jesus figured the best way to love us was to honor and do the will of the Father. Now remember, no one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son who's in the bosom of the Father, He has explained Him. The life of Jesus explains God. He never gives us a commandment we can't obey or an example that we can't follow. He explains it by His life. But John's point, the best thing I can do for you, and remember, agape love is to think of others as more important than myself. So the best thing that I can do for you is to love Him wholeheartedly through obedience. Obedience is a frowned upon word these days. But I'll tell you what happens when I walk in obedience. Because I'm walking with Him, automatically I will do you no ill. It's like impossible. So observing His commandments are a safeguard on every level. Verse 3, for this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments. And His commandments are not burdensome. His commands are not grievous, I believe the King James says. They're not a burden. It's not, oh man, I have to do this. But more, I get to walk with you and you empower me to do so? The psalmist writes, oh, how I love your law. It's my meditation all the day. Your commandments make me wiser than my enemies, for they're ever mine. I have more insight than all my teachers, for your testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the aged because I observed your precepts. I've restrained my feet from every evil way that I may keep your word. How sweet are your words to my taste. Yea, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You know, if the world wasn't dark, we wouldn't need light, but it is, so we do. His commandments are not burdensome, they're not grievous, they're beneficial in every way, including bringing us personal peace and joy. Now, I have a testimony of what God freed me from, and I am proud of God for doing that. But my wife's testimony is so much more powerful. Look what God kept me from. Because I've loved Him and kept His commandments and observed His word from an early age. Now, when John talks about commands, keeping commands, I think this is deeper than the 10 Commandments, as the spirit behind our obedience is very important, amen? Jesus actually said you don't have to kill someone to commit murder. because anger and hatred are the spirit behind it. But let's just use one of the 10 commandments as a template. You shall not bear false witness, for instance. When I obey that command to simply walk in honesty, in sincerity, without wax, I, or God in me, creates an environment where everyone is free. If we walk in the light as he himself is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of his Son cleanses us from all sin. In that environment, let's say in a journey group, I can share struggles without fear of judgment. What a liberating thing that is. I can share struggles that I know will not be taken out of this group and used at my expense. His commandments are not burdensome. They're actually life-giving. They lose their life-giving properties when they become the end in themselves.
Hey guys, if you like this content, please consider subscribing for more.